Happy Thursday, guys, and welcome to PuckTime on WagerTalk TV. Andrew McInnis, Carmine Bianco, Lawrence Presman, and Bryan Leonard. It is a jam-packed show here on PuckTime. We can't wait to break down a ton of games for you. Sides, totals, props, team totals, same-game parlays, bankroll builders, all kinds of stuff here on the show. And Carm, as much as I said to you yesterday, the Wednesday slates have hidden opportunities to make some money. Something so nice about a slate like this with just so many games to look at.
Yeah, get those 14-team, 14-leg parlays ready for for tonight. I watched a little bit of hockey yesterday just because most of my plays were like first period plays and what have you. You know, the Minnesota game. Watched the first 20 minutes of it. New Jersey still looks super fast. They did in that opening 20, and then they scored with like 3 minutes left to win the first period. The Sabres, Andrew. Why didn't I also give out the Sabres on the under in the first period? During your show the other night, I did mention the Sabres unders were hitting like crazy in the first period, and that finished 0-0 before the Sabres won. Colton Ellis for the Sabres. Congratulations on your first win. He's going to face the Leafs next, either Friday or Saturday. I think probably Saturday in Toronto. So we'll see how that goes. But we got Lawrence coming in now. He's going to do Carolina and Colorado. You and I are going to do Florida, Pittsburgh. Bryan, Leonard, who has a 5% play today in the NHL, will be doing Utah, St. Louis. And then back to you and I, the Islanders and Red Wings, Dallas and the LA Kings, your same game parlay, and my pod looks to rebound off of yesterday's defeat. And then we're going to close it out and go and watch some Europa League soccer this afternoon.
That's exactly what I'm doing, Carm. You read my plans perfectly there, watching Europa League soccer. That was in my plan book. But for me yesterday, guys, I instead of making 4% play, I did a 2% first period, 2% full game. Minnesota Wild. Minnesota did not get there for me at all. So Detroit, very, very good on their back-to-back. But I did cash in on Buffalo. And so far, so good, guys. Reading the market for me, I did think it was kind of a weird number there on Buffalo. Seemed kind of fishy. How well their opponent was playing. Detroit playing so well. Buffalo not playing the best. Rookie goaltender in net. And they closed, Carm, as high as 125, 130. So, look, I'm not here to say that sharp movement is maybe hockey is like the sport to use for that. But there are certain situations you can look for where you can say, okay, this book is showing this number. There must be something we should consider here. And I know Bryan talks about it and you talk about it with Circa and certain Pinnacle, certain books that we can use as our indicators. So happy to have kind of a split day yesterday, but Minnesota did not show up for me whatsoever. But Buffalo Sabres get the job done. Minnesota Wild do not. And we move on to today. Jam-packed already. A ton of you guys in there with Adrian, with Thomas, with Hal, Brett, RJ. A lot of you guys in here. Appreciate everybody for hopping in with us. And Carm, I'll tell you, when you have your first NHL game and then you go ahead and have to play the second one, I feel like sometimes almost the second NHL game is tougher than the first. So we'll see how he does in the second one. But I'm looking forward to watching how he develops because seems like a real good kid.
Yeah, Andrew, a couple quick comments. Carmine's #1 fan, Hal. Is there who the F picked these games? I did, Hal. I picked these games. But actually, the guests get to pick their own games that they're going to break down. So with that said, we're going to bring in the Prez, Mr. High Energy. I was out last night celebrating his lady's birthday. Had a great time. And he's going to break down probably the marquee game of the night, Colorado and Carolina. Well, Prez, how you doing?
Doing well, Carm. Excited about tonight. Went 1-2 in NHL yesterday, so my disaster run continues. But I know that I'm going to. I know that I'm done. I know that it's time to go on a run. So I'm feeling pretty good, and I'm staying home tonight. Finally, tomorrow I got the Blue Jay game. Saturday, the Blue Jay game. Can't go though, Carm. Not even this guy is prepared to pay $2,000 to go see a Blue Jay game. It's too much money.
Prez, I got some people I know that got $300 tickets yesterday. It was crazy. The general admission, they caught them. They released for like half an hour, and they released a ton of $300 tickets. And just like that, it went back up to like $2,000 after that.
So I wouldn't pay
the crazy thing, Lawrence?
Yeah.
The crazy thing, Lawrence, is those tickets were $300 with the taxes and what have you, $345. During the regular season, those tickets are $20.
I think they're $5. Aren't they $5?
$20 general admission. You don't get a seat. You just
I'm not standing. I'm not standing and watching a Blue Jay game either. So it all works out. Okay, Carolina.
With that said, minus 135 on the Avalanche, plus 111 on the Canes, who experienced their first loss of the season to the Vegas Golden Knights. Where are you going here on this one?
Well, sidewise, brother, I will lean slightly on Colorado. Look, is Carolina as good as they've looked? And not only have they won almost every game, losing their last one to Vegas, but they really won a lot of those games going away. With that said, they have not had a real tough schedule, Carm. Before Vegas, it was the LA Kings, the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, and the San Jose Sharks. So I don't think Carolina is as good as they look record-wise. And I don't want to play. I don't want to play against Colorado off of a loss. They lost to Dallas 4-3. They came back. They won their next 3 games, holding opponents to only 1 goal. So from a side perspective, I don't want to play against Carolina off of a loss. I don't want to play against Colorado off of a loss. But if I had to pick one, I'll take the home team, who is a better team, who's had a tougher schedule. And it's a pretty short number at minus 135. The play that I like the most here is under the total. And, Colorado, we think as an over team, given that they've got weapons everywhere. It is really tough to score against this hockey team. I mean, already this year, this team has played 7 games, and 5 of them, they've kept their opponents to 1 goal. Just think about that. In 5 of 7 games, they've kept their opponents to 1 goal. That is absolutely incredible. And Carolina is not a scoring juggernaut team. I understand they put up 4 or 5 or 6 in their first 5 games. Again, the Kings, the Ducks, the Sharks, the Flyers, these are not great defensive units. They finally played a great defensive unit. They put up a 1 against Vegas. So I look and Carolina's defense is incredible. They too have held teams to 1 goal only 2 of the last 4 games. On top of all of that, if you take the best teams when they play each other, the contenders, if you take them when they play each other under, you'll do well. And if you take the crappy teams like Anaheim against, the Blackhawks over, you'll do well. So regardless of how they're trending regularly, when contenders match up against each other, we look to go on the under. When pretenders match up against each other, we look to go on the over. So I like the under in this game, and I lean on Colorado.
Prez, you broke that down fantastic, man. I appreciate you doing that. You also got a very good comment from TJ Salvador. Says, so appropriate. Prez has the Adam Vinatieri poster behind him. Much like the GOAT of kicking, Prez is clutch in poker, golf, and handicapping.
Wow.
How's that for a comment, man?
Well, I mean, I appreciate that. So thank you, brother. But I got to start swapping these things out. And I mean, here, Carm, hold up. Don't go anywhere.
All right. And that was the
Carm,
Prez. And now we.
I also like this comment. I actually agree with what Prez just said there, as if it was a shock.
Oh, God. Look for the nearest. Okay. There you go.
There's a lot of stuff. I have to redo this all. My plan was to rotate the chairs around because I got 4 walls of stuff. Anyway, I got to go tape the best betting show ever. I have 3 plays up for my clients tonight. It's all good. It's all good. I'm going 3-0 tonight. So nobody needs to get them. I love you all. I'm 7-13 to start the season. So 7-13 to start the season. I got 3 plays up tonight in the NHL, and I'm sweeping the board tonight and starting to get going. Thanks for having me, boys. Lots of love.
See you, Prez.
Best
Have a good
of
night.
luck. Best of luck to you, Andrew. By the way, for TJ Salvatore, Andrew, I did have Cacio and Pepe last night. I ended up making it. If you guys are wondering what Cacio Pepe is, and it is pepper and pecorino cheese on fettuccine. So no red sauce. It's a white dish. Very good. Dan, our producer, who is a fantastic chef, would probably make a great dish with that. Andrew, Florida, Pittsburgh, -201 on Florida, +163 on Pittsburgh. The total sits here at 6. Here's where I'm going to go with this. And I know that Los Kid is probably going to come into the chat and say, Carm, are you fading Pittsburgh once again? Yes, I am. But I'm fading them for a different reason, Andrew. We know Florida has the injuries. We know that Florida lost quite a few games in a row. I think it was a 4 or 5 game losing skid. But they broke that skid on their final game of this road trip, winning 4-3 in Boston. And I always say, if a team is on an extended losing streak, and for Florida, a 4-game losing streak is an extended losing streak for them, given how they've played the last couple of years. When they win, I just want to come right back with them the very next game. And this is one where I think they return home. And what are they, 3-0 at home thus far? They get another win at home. Do I want to lay the 201? No, I'd probably split it to get like a -1 on the game, like Dave Koken would say, or I would take Florida on the puck line and drop the. You can basically get even money on that one. So that's where I'm going with this one. What are your thoughts on this Pens team, Andrew?
Yeah, I like the way you think there with that, Carm, like that, a team coming off games they weren't playing very well, and then they go ahead and win that game against Boston, and maybe that can create some momentum and some flow for that team. One thing I think that will keep them sharp as well is that they didn't exactly keep their lead by any means against the Boston Bruins. Like, they started to kind of slack in the third period, which I know that people will say isn't a good thing, but it also will keep them sharp moving forward in this one. Scheduling wise, Carm, it's kind of a weird game here for Pittsburgh because, well, when you look at Pittsburgh here, they had a big road trip, and it's kind of messing me up here because on the screen the Penguins are on the right, even though I know they're the away team, they're not the home team. But the Penguins went on the road and they played the Ducks, the Kings, the Sharks. And then they went ahead and they had one home game against the Canucks. They arrive at home and they do very well against the Canucks, which kind of shocked a lot of people. But you do all of that on the road, then you have one game back at home, and then you go back on the road again. You know, it just feels like a really weird scheduling dynamic for me here, Carm. So although we've got Florida that we can say coming back off a road trip as well, we can still sort of say the Penguins are coming off a road trip too, because we saw so many road games in the West Coast, in California and such for Pittsburgh. They came home to play one game, and then they go back on the road again. It seems very weird. The NHL would put them in that situation, but I'm curious to see what the rest of the schedule looks like for Pittsburgh over the next 2 weeks. But you have to think a homestand is probably coming for them if they've been playing so much on the road. But I think that, the momentum kind of lied for Pittsburgh in that first game back in their after their road trip, because maybe their first game back they were feeling good about themselves, but this is the letdown spot that I think we find for them. And you mentioned, Carm, that it's not really the greatest price by any means. You could look towards a puck line, or it could be a very good -1 line. To your point, I think a really good bet here is the first period. The -0.5 goal +125 is the one I locked in. I think that the Penguins run out of gas defensively. And one thing to mention, this Panthers team right now is the 5th worst shooting percentage in all shot attempts. Like, their expected goal numbers have been incredibly high every single game. And of course, they are missing Barkov and they are missing Tkachuk. But I think right now this team is going to have a breakout, and I just needed to play a really poor defensive team. Pittsburgh is not a good defensive team. First period plus 125. I think the Panthers get the job done. Carm, before you bring in Bryan, any thoughts on that scheduling dynamic? I mean, it's kind of weird. Like you go on the road, then you come back, and then you go on the road again. It seems like a tough situation for Pittsburgh more than it really is for Florida.
Yeah, it does. And if you look at the teams, as you mentioned, who they played on the road thus far, I get it. You can only play the teams they put in front of you. But the luck of the draw has them playing teams that that are struggling to score goals. And the game that they lost is against a team that it actually has some speed in the Anaheim Ducks and who are scoring goals. They beat the Rangers, who can't seem to find a goal on home ice. They beat the Kings, who've been struggling to score goals, and you mentioned San Jose as well too. So luck of the draw for them. They come back to the East Coast, and now they head down to Florida. It's just from a travel perspective, it's not the greatest time for them. And again, you mentioned the XG numbers for Florida. They are creating numbers, and as long as you're creating the numbers, if you have a skilled team, eventually you're going to score some goals. And we know Florida is going to be fine. We know, obviously Tkachuk is out, Barkov's out, but this team still has enough scoring on that team to finish second in their division. And to them, Andrew, all that matters to Florida is get through the season with no more injuries, get into the playoffs, because this team can win on the road. They've proven it the last 2-3 years. Making 3 cup finals and winning the last 2. So I don't think they're worried about where they sit in the standings. But after winning that game against Boston, which was I would say an emotionally fueled game because you had Marchand coming back to Boston, that they return home now and start to string some wins together. So I'm on Florida this game. And again, if they win, I'm going to look to see what kind of a price I can get and how to play them their next game as well too. With that said, Carter Verhaeghe plus 215 to score tonight, anytime goal. I'm gonna toss that little dart out there and take the plus money. Andrew, what do you think?
That's a really good number, and they need someone like him to step up big time, Carmen. As I mentioned, they've been getting the chances. It's kind of one of those things you have to look at, and we're gonna find it out about probably both Florida teams today. Both Florida teams, I would say here, Carm. Does the XG mean that they're bound to start scoring here, or does it mean that right now the well is very dry and they're not going to finish their chances? But that's one thing I really like to look at. And this is from moneypuck.com, shooting percentage on all shot attempts. Like if I told you Calgary, Minnesota, New York, Edmonton, and Florida, I'd probably say that the 2 teams that surprised me to be on that list the most are the top teams, being the 2 teams that were in the Cup Finals last year, Edmonton and Florida. This is why nobody should be worried about Edmonton and nobody should be worried about Florida. It'd be different to me if they were just not creating any chances at all, but they're evidently creating a ton of chances. They're just not scoring goals. Like I remember there was a Canadiens player when he came into the league, Carm, he had it was like a 24% like shooting percentage. Like anytime he was averaging like 1 shot a game, and that was just a goal whenever he shot. Like shooting percentage is a very real thing to look at in the NHL, because just because you had 35 shots on net doesn't mean you're going to have a good night offensively that night. It's how hockey works, right?
No, and that's exactly it. There's some nights where Buster's even talked about this in the past, pretty sure Bryan has, and we'll talk to Bryan in a minute, but where you see a team with 40 plus shots on goal and you're like, how did they only score like 1 or 2? You think you got unlucky, but when you're playing a defensive team that keeps the shots to the outside, closes off the shooting lanes and makes it easy on the goalie, you can get a lot of shots from the left and right face-off circles, and those are ones that the goalie's just going to handle. And while that shot count goes up, the XG number doesn't go up with it, just because they are easier numbers. And when we talk about analytics, don't hang your hat just on one stat, guys, whether it's XG, which I'll talk about, because I'm not going to say you can go broke just betting on teams to finally come out of that XG curse or what have you. But high danger chances, you want to make sure that the teams are producing and goals above expected. Andrew, it's what we talk about as well too. But the right guy to bring in for that kind of a discussion is none other than Mr. Leonard himself. Let's see what kind of a hairdo he has today. Oh, look! Oh, wow! Are those frosted tips?
No frosted tips, but it's what they call gray hair.
Great.
I let my wife do it. So yeah.
PuckTime, sponsored by Just for Men.
I thought they were frosted tips.
I don't use that. Never dyed my hair, as you could see from this here. It's just, I don't know why that works out.
Bryan, you have two things. First of all, you have a 5% play going today. You can tell us that before we get to this Utah-St. Louis game. And then anything you want to add on analytics that we were just discussing.
Yeah, you mentioned the 5% play. It's up right now. I put it up last night. I couldn't believe the line on it. And the line's still there. So, yeah, more people can take advantage of it. Number one, the last 11 years over at WagerTalk since their inception in hockey in net profit. And number one, the last 3 days. Although I was with Andrew yesterday, I had Minnesota. I lost that game. I would play that game again. It's after it's over, you don't always win the game. But it was a great situation, and hats off to New Jersey. They played much better than I thought they would. But, it happens. I lost. I took a chance, and I'd do it again. As for analytics, yeah, you got to take everything into account. I think last time I was on here, it was a big schedule, and only two of the teams that won actually outshot the opposition. To me, that's the most useless stat there is out there. You got to look at high danger chances. If you're able to watch the games, a lot of time, you'll watch a game and you'll see exactly why one team is put more shots on goal. It's because they're getting desperate. They can't get inside. They can't get the shots they want. So they're just getting out there and just slapping it towards the net, hoping to get a nice bounce and to score a goal that way. So yeah, there's so many things you can look at, and you guys watch a lot more hockey than I do, and I'm relatively new to the sport compared to you guys. And congratulations on the Blue Jays, by the way. And yes, I'm with Prez. I'm not paying $2,000 for a ticket to stand. Although I will say I did not know that Prez played golf. One of the gentlemen said he was good at poker. He's good at sports betting and golf. I didn't realize that they made the golf clubs that short. He must have had to go to a child section to get those. He's not a very tall man.
Toys R Us. Toys R Us.
You know what's, Bryan? I will say this. It actually it affects me because next year I told all my friends I'm determined I need to get taller clubs. Like I feel like they're better off. Like the more average ones would suit him better. For me, it hurts me because like I have to hit like a squat to hit with like regular size clubs, and obviously most clubs are probably closer to Prez's size. So I think it might actually impact him. And it's probably easier to play golf though when you're closer to the ground. It's harder for you
over as far. Hey. That's the benefit right there.
Listen,
just you suck, Andrew. Yeah, I do. I'm lucky if I swing 100. That's for sure.
Yeah, I've played golf with Prez in the past, and I count every stroke. I don't think he counts every stroke. I'm just going to throw it out there. There was once where he drove it into the woods, and he's like, "I'm going to find the ball. I'm going to find the ball," and then after like 5 minutes of us searching for it, I head back to the cart to grab my club. He goes, "Hey, I found it." And I'm questioning in my head, do I tell him that his ball is in my back pocket or not? So,
what's the worst?
I'm not sure which one he found.
The people that look for too long. That's like those people bother me too. Like if you're looking, like I remember I played with somebody one time and I was playing my old man, this guy and his buddy, and my old man just kept on throwing out balls out of his own bag. Hey, I found your ball. It was right over here. But he was just using his own balls because this guy was looking for like 20 minutes. You can't be playing with somebody that's looking for their balls for that long. Speaking of look for our balls, we'll have to look for our balls and get back to this show. Find some winners for everybody. Cool. But I wanted to mention one thing before we go, because we're talking about analytics. Calgary last night against the Canadiens. Carm, I always joke with you. Hey, I think this might be a spot to fade the Habs, but I don't know if I can fade my Habs. And yesterday it was a spot to go against them. But this Calgary team just can't score. And that was the only reason, guys, that I truthfully kept off the Flames yesterday. This is unbelievable. Their shooting percentage, Bryan, on all shot attempts this season is 2.09. Like, you want to talk about that, that website I always talk to you about, the shot factor, or what the
shot quality?
Yeah, shot quality. Like, look at the shot quality of this NHL team right now, 2.09. Like, and we'll put it in reference for everybody. Winnipeg right now has a 7% of their shots are turning into goals. And only like 2% of Calgary's shots are turning into goals. That's pretty tough. But anyway, Bryan, I just thought I'd mention that because, you could have the best spot you possibly can for Calgary, but it doesn't really matter if they don't really have the goal scoring ability right now. Speaking of teams that are scoring, though, Utah is scoring goals. They're quietly actually a fun team to watch, this Utah team. And I got to give them credit here, guys. I didn't think their home ice was going to be that bumping. Like, that building seems to be a pretty good home ice. But they're on the road here in this one. What do you think?
Yeah, knowing that I had season tickets for the Golden Knights the first 6 years, I know how it is when you get a new team in your city. That was the thing, and that was in Las Vegas. Can you imagine in Utah right now? That's got to be great. I want to drive up there and see a game. Yeah, it's something that has really worked in their favor so far. As you mentioned, perfect 4-0-0 at home, but just 1-2-0 when they go on the road. They're just coming off of a perfect homestand, and we find them embarking on a 4-game road trip. In fact, 8 of their next 9 games are going to be on opponent ice. And you mentioned the schedule with Pittsburgh, I believe. That's very similar here. So basically, you're looking at 9 straight games that Utah will be playing on different ice. And that's something I always look at. And if they happen to get off to a good start, I'm looking to go against them. If they get off to a poor start, you've got time to get back as the lines are going to move based on how they play, especially this early in the season. And when you take a look at the games that they won at home, they played 4-0 at home, as I mentioned, but 3 of those came against Calgary, San Jose, and Boston. 3 teams right now that are pretty much struggling. But it's early. We'll see what happens. But the only quality opponent they beat was the last time out at home, and that was their last game. They beat Colorado in overtime 4-3. Now, did Colorado look past them, obviously, to Carolina? I doubt it. This is a divisional team, and so they're off that big win. And when I grade these 2 teams out between Utah and St. Louis, I have them pretty close together. There's not much of a differential for them. And St. Louis, was dominant at home down the stretch last year, but they're only 1-2-1 in this building this season. The Blues are finishing off a 4-game homestand, and they lost in overtime to the Kings on Tuesday. Now, I had the Kings in that game. I really thought it was a good spot to play the Kings. They were coming off a homestand where they did not play well. Going on the road, I thought they were going to give a full effort that first game, and they did. They led the entire game, and they ended up winning it 2-1. And but now I'm going to go against the team now that I backed the other day. We're going to go on the team, that I went against the other day. And so I'm going to play St. Louis in this contest. If you look at the cheap price that this has right now, I think because of the Mammoths look so good at home, I think they're a little bit overrated. I have the teams rated pretty equally. The spot screams St. Louis here, and you're getting them for less than what I would consider a normal home ice advantage with 2 equal teams. You take a look at the line in Carolina and in Colorado, it's a little high to me. I think that road team has a little bit of an edge. But I think the home team right now in St. Louis, based on what they've done so far, the game means more to St. Louis right now than it does to Utah. They've got to get back on track playing at home, because that was a big deal last year. They really racked up some games at home that they went into the playoffs with. So it's a situation for myself where I think there's plenty of value here on St. Louis, and you're getting them at a pretty good price.
Yeah, Bryan, when we talk about St. Louis, they rebounded nicely against the Dallas Stars after getting embarrassed at home by Chicago, 8-3. And then they followed up with another very good game against the LA Kings. Unfortunately, once the game goes to overtime, we all know the bounces. We always remember the games we lose in OT. We don't remember the ones we win in OT. It is like a poker player who remembers losing with aces, but never remembers how he cracked someone's aces. It's selective memory, as I would say. But I agree with you. Like, it's such a low price, I think, on the Blues right now, and Utah's playing well. It was a 4-game sweep for them on home ice, and an impressive one coming back against Colorado. But you look at the games, and it's like the Calgary Flames, San Jose Sharks, the Boston Bruins. The one game of those 4 that has to be the most impressive was against Colorado.
I agree, and it was the last one they played, so they're coming into this game pretty happy. Whereas St. Louis has had a couple games there, like you mentioned, how they played against Chicago. This is a team that I think the talent level's right there. I do like the Utah team, no doubt about it. But right now, I think it's a good spot for St. Louis, and like I said, the line's very cheap.
And one thing I've noticed, guys, we're seeing like defensive-based teams are the teams that you really want to be backing at home. And St. Louis with their good goaltending, Jim Montgomery, how he coaches. I love the play, Brian. I'm right there with you. This may end up being a play for myself because I looked at it last night. And I think that just by the structure of how they play, they're going to be able to kind of contain Utah. But when Utah gets the last change, they're going to be able to get it done. Like for a team like Colorado, obviously, everyone talks about the high altitude and all this, but with how good and skilled they are, does anybody really care if you're backing them at home or on the road? You know what I mean? But a team like the Blues, maybe that means more. And look at the Wild, guys. Like, they let us down yesterday. They didn't have the best of road trips. And Brian, you know exactly as well as I do, they're going to go at home and the Wild are going to start playing well again. It's just how she goes. Certain teams, I think it might be like the lower scoring teams are better to back at home. And then some of the teams that can score, it doesn't matter really where you're backing them,
Yeah, I look at it more of a strength of the team and how good the team is. The better teams, I trust more on the road than the lesser teams. The lesser teams, you can get value betting bad teams, lower than league average teams at home. But when they go on the road is where you can really take advantage of them, because it's tough. You've been to a lot of these arenas around the country, and I've been to 4 or 5 myself just in the last couple of years. And, it's tough to go on the road, especially if you played the night before and the other team is healthy. You're at a major disadvantage in that regard. And yeah, the schedule means a lot more than a lot of people pay attention to it. If anybody's out there bet the NBA over the years, that. Teams playing the third game in 4 days, back to back. It's tough to do when the other team's been rested.
Carm, trivia question for you. What does Jim Montgomery and Carmine Bianco have in common?
We both have the same barber.
They both know a lot about hockey.
Andrew, let me say this before we let Brian go. I've been going to the same barber since I got my first haircut at 5 years old. He does the straight blade shaving, but here's the thing is, last year I think I went, and his health isn't as good as it was before, and he's got the shakes now, and I cannot have a straight razor with the shakes. But the other thing is, my friends go to him as well too, because we all grew up in the same area, and he will say to them, "Hey, I was listening to Carm on the radio yesterday. I'm no longer on the radio." So it makes you wonder, do you really want this guy cutting your hair or giving you a straight razor shave? Brian, what do you have up at WagerTalk with your 5% play as well?
Well, we got the 5% in hockey. I may add a couple more. I did have a small play for the NFL. I gave my seasonal clients, and nothing in the 2 NBA games today. So basically today I'll be working on, obviously, checking some lines, checking the who's in goal, but be working on the weekend football. And they've got that great special going on Saturday and Sunday and even Monday for that special going on. I believe it's $49. Weekend Warrior, I think is what they call it. So yeah, we all do football. I've had a real nice run in college football. I think 16-6, but I haven't been able to find anything so far in these limited games during the week. But we'll have some nice plays this Saturday and Sunday.
All right. I wish you the best of luck on the weekend, but of course, I wish you the best of luck tonight.
There you go.
Brian. You knock it out of the ballpark each and every year in NHL. So head over to his page over at WagerTalk, wt.buzz/BL to get that play. Andrew, Speaking of plays, the New York Islanders and the Red Wings. Red Wings on the second of a back-to-back. And we talk about teams. I talk about teams that snap a losing streak, and I want to come back and play them the next game as well, too. A team that has their win streak snapped. Do you want to bet against them the next time out? If you do, the Isles are minus 139 tonight, plus 114. Looks like Cam Talbot in goal for the Wings tonight. Where are you going with this one?
Yeah, I think, Carm, it's a good point. Like sometimes you look at a team playing super well and then they finally snap out of it and you're like, okay, maybe this is the time to go against them again. But the only thing I'm going to say about this Islanders team is that they started off a little bit flat. They weren't playing very well themselves. And then all of a sudden they picked up a few wins. But who are the teams that they beat? I mean, they played an Oilers team that's been playing hot garbage. They played a Senators team that it seems like our whole chat could score a goal against them right now because they're giving up 6 goals to everybody. And then they beat the Sharks. And as Pocket Surprise keeps telling us in the live chat, the Sharks are awful. And he says there's value on minus 400 on them. So on fading them. So as we all know, the Sharks aren't very good. So as much as I was wanted to talk about this Detroit team and how I thought they were overachieving, I think this Islanders team is doing a little bit of overachieving as well themselves. I mentioned this on the show yesterday, though. Detroit, 25th ranked in expected goals for, Carm. They created a ton of chances yesterday. They couldn't score on Ellis, the rookie. But I'm going to shock you here. Second half of back-to-back, I'm actually going to take the under. Usually second half of back-to-backs, I'm very keen to look towards action, look towards overs. I think that we've been seeing some higher scoring results for the Islanders. You know how Patrick Waugh is. He's not a coach that loves these type of games. He doesn't want games that have 7, 8, 9 total goals. Patrick Waugh is trying to lead his team to 2-1 boring games. That's what the Islanders are known for. And I think Talbot will have a good start tonight for the Wings. But I think this could be a game that we see a Red Wings team looking to bounce back, but also an Islanders team that's not playing against the Sharks or the Senators, and it will be a bit tougher to score on them in this one. So although it's second half of back-to-back, I'm liking the under. And the funny thing is, overnight I was like, you know what? This game has overwritten all over it. But the more I looked at this game, the more I thought that this is a particular matchup where both defenses should show up here. And with the Red Wings in bounce-back fashion, they're going to want to play better defensively as well. So that's kind of my contrarian play of the day here, Carm.
I am going to contrarian your contrarian play. Is that even does that even work? I'm not even sure if it works or not. I have a friend who's flying in to town from New York. He is a season ticket holder for the New York Islanders. Hilarious hilarious story. I'll make it quick. During the pandemic, when fans weren't allowed in, they allowed season ticket holders to buy cardboard cutouts and put them in their seats. Well, he gets a cardboard cutout of my brother, who's a friend of his, and one of our other mutual friends, and he has them in their seats. So when they're showing the games, they're showing the cutouts, and where his seats are is where the camera would always pan in on. So my brother ended up his cardboard cutout on the telecasts. But anyways, he's in town for the Breeders' Crown. Any of you guys who are huge or that are standard bred fans, horse racing fans, the Breeders' Crown is Friday and Saturday here at Mohawk, just outside of Toronto. So he's up here for that. We're probably going to catch this Islanders game on TV with him. I am taking the team total. I'm riding the wave of the Islanders scoring goals of late against a Red Wings team coming off a loss against the Buffalo Sabres. It's a back-to-back, over 3.5, plus 115 on the New York Islanders tonight, Andrew. It might be a little biased. It might be a homer bet for my buddy, but 3 wins for the New York Islanders. They're scoring goals. Their games have some goals in them, so why not?
Yeah.
We'll go
it's a nice price too, Carm. I like that plus 115. Good number there for the team total. I like it.
Yeah. Plus, you love those plus money ones. It's right in that wheelhouse of yours. So
yeah,
I'm being a contrarian to your contrarian. I'm not looking for a low scoring game. I'm looking for some goals here. Team total over 3.5 plus 115 Can you talk me off that or no?
I wouldn't mind a 4-1 game. Give me a 4-1 game. That will cash both our tickets. That's fine with me. There's a new thing that I started looking at this season, and it's like last game of road trip or second half of back-to-backs. Here's my thought process was like, if the Wings were to have won yesterday against Buffalo, then I would like the over, because I think there would be that like foot off the gas pedal mentality.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that they're off a loss, maybe we'll see more of a defensive game in this one because they're, give up 4 goals against the Buffalo Sabres. That's like East Coast team, man, giving up 4 goals against Buffalo.
Wow.
So it's tough to see.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's
Nicholas
very
says
rare
both teams to score 2+ goals. Interesting.
Sure.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Not bad.
Why not? If you can get plus money on it, it'd be good. Who knows? As far as that one goes. But Andrew, we got one more game, and then we're going to get into the same game parlay and pods, and it's the Dallas Stars -149, the LA Kings +123. The total sits here at 5.5, and you got the Stars on a 3-game losing skid right now. They didn't look good against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Where you go with this one?
Carm, I'm going to take the over in this one. We've seen this Kings team just hasn't looked very good defensively at all. They've just been giving up goals. They look like an aging blue line. They don't look like they have the foot speed that they once had. Their PK hasn't been all that great over the past few games, even though it did start off on a really good note. But I think this Stars team, when they snap out of their streak, they're going to snap out of it with a ton of goals. Like, they're going to find their offense. And so I think with this LA Kings team looking to find their way, and I think that guys like Byfield and guys like even Laferriere, like they're finding their stride. They're just not able to capitalize on some of their chances. Fiala can't lead the way. Kempe can't lead the way. There needs to be more guys that are contributing offensively. But one thing about this Kings team, they weren't playing very well at home. They needed to get out on the road, and so far so good, but I think it'll continue with them having success on the road. I talked about earlier with Bryan about some of these defensive teams, playing better at home, but the Kings weren't playing well at home, so they got to get out on the road themselves. So I feel like the Kings are definitely going to give the Stars a puncher's chance, and they're going to get their goals as well, but I certainly think the Stars have found a team that they could score some goals against. As this Kings team, this is not the Kings team that we watched several years ago. This is not the same defensive team, the same lock it down and protect the lead type of team. This is a team that's going to give you 5.5s for totals, but a team that can score. You're going to get some 6s, but based on some of these teams, you're going to get some lower totals throughout the season. So I do like the over here in this one. Should be a good player props game as well.
Yeah. Andrew, I like the Stars. I've always liked the Stars the last few years, just the way they play, but I can't lay $1.50 with the Stars in this game, not the way they're playing. And you would have thought after a couple losses that Columbus would have been the right team for them to play on home ice, and then they lose that game 5-1. If you remember last year, and it is just drawing some parallels. You remember last year, the LA Kings didn't have the greatest start at home. Hit the road, won some games, and kind of jump-started their season. When they returned home, they started to play some very good defensive hockey. They started to win some games. They get that win in St. Louis. I think they could back it up here. I think the price is just juicy enough at +123, and you could probably find it a little bit better at a couple other books where I would want to take the Kings until the Stars. I see something from the Stars to turn it around. We've seen a lot of good teams thus far this season with 2-game losing streaks that turned into 3 and then 4 before they snapped out of it. And the Stars are mired in one right now. It's a 3-game losing skid for this team, and the last one wasn't a good one for them. So the Kings are 2-1-1 on the road this season. They opened up with a OT win against Vegas Golden Knights. So I would take them, Andrew. I'm going to take the +123 here and look for them to beat the Dallas Stars. And hopefully at some point the Stars turn the corner where we can jump on them and get them at a good buy low price. But as far as I'm concerned, for tonight's game, I'm on the Kings.
Hey, look, a streak can only be broken once, Carm. But this team can keep on losing and losing and losing for a couple more games. So definitely don't hate that. And I love the price on it as well. I think they are a live dog tonight. We'll be finding out if I take a look at a team total or money line or full game. But I do think we see goals in this game regardless. I think it'd be tough to see the Kings win this game with only a few goals. Like if they're going to beat the Stars, I feel like they do have to show up and be able to put some goals up on the board. Yeah, great stuff by Bryan to remind people about that Weekend Warrior, as it's a really good one that we have going right now. But we also have a ton of different deals going right now for a full year, for the full 365 days. We also have deals going at WagerTalk for the rest of 2025. So I think it's a really good opportunity for anybody looking to get in long-term with us. Carm, it's about to be a really busy time of year with NHL, NFL, NBA, college sports going on, UFC, soccer, CFL playoffs, if anybody cares. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on. So if anybody's interested right
Japanese
now at WagerTalk, yeah, exactly. There's a lot of stuff going on. So we got a lot of stuff to look at, and I think it's going to be a really, really good run for the next couple of months. So you guys can get that next Tuesday, I believe. Some of these expire. So if you guys are interested in getting some long-term deals, make sure you take advantage and check that out before these expire. All right, Carm, am I up or are you up for our
I will go. I'll go first, and then you can put up your same game parlay and close out the show. Just as far as what's going on at WagerTalk before we do the pod, I have a couple plays up in Europa League soccer that go at 3:00 today. Yesterday, a win and a push with my two games in Champions League. Two plays up in the NHL tonight. One's a best bet selection. So you can grab the 1 day all access and get all of those plays. But it's a great deal. Andrew mentioned you can get the rest. There's a great deal. The rest of 2025 for basically, I think it's like $8 a day. It's a great deal because I'll be in a ton of action with college football, with NFL, which is going extremely well, NHL, soccer. There's just a ton of action for me. So you can grab the rest of 2025 and hopefully we end up with a nice, strong run to finish off the season. Now, my pod play. I am going to this Tampa game, Andrew. Tampa, the team that mushed both you and I in this game. I'm taking Tampa on the puck line. Yes, Los Kid, I am taking Tampa Bay here. Andrew, I look at this game and the puck line is -1.5, -115. They're playing the Chicago Blackhawks. And you look at the Hawks the last couple of seasons on the road. Last season, 10-31 on the road. 26 of those losses came in regulation. They were one of the worst teams against the puck line on the road. The year previous, even worse, 7-34 on the road for Chicago. 32 of those losses in regulation, and a lot of those were by 2+ goals. Tampa, the sixth best team last season at home on the puck line. That's where we're going. So it is $200 on Tampa, -1.5, -115 to get that bankroll back up again. So that's my pod play. I wish you the best of luck if you're following.
Carm, I had to correlate my play with your play here. Won't take any more time because we're going to look at this right now. We've got a same game parlay, and I've got 3 guys that are going to get the job done, and they're all on the same team. Brandon Hagel on the same line as Braden Point, and even if they shuffle things up, they're out there on the top power play unit as well. Hagel has to get going, and you know who I think he's missed? A guy like Kucherov being back in action. All 3 of these guys work well together. All 3 of these guys have been on the team for several years. And Carm, well, with Kucherov being back after his sickness, I love that you like this Tampa Bay team today. It's a high price against the Blackhawks, guys. So I feel like it's a really good game for player props. We got Brandon Hagel, 1+ point. Braden Point, 1+ point. And Nikita Kucherov, 3+ shots on goal, +178. Guys, shop around to get the best number you possibly can. Every book is different with their same game parlays. but I like this one a lot. So guys, if you're following, this is a little bit of a lower price than the ones we've had the past couple days, but plus 178, not too bad. Hagel, Point, and Kucherov shots. Let's cash this ticket. And between this same gamer and Carmine's play of the day, this is going to be hopefully a really good night for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And we had a comment. I got to try and find this from KK Flyers saying Tampa is dead to me. And I'll tell you what, if you and I don't have luck with these two plays we just gave out, Tampa's dead to us as well. So
yes,
we're giving Tampa one last shot here against the Hawks.
That's it. That's all we're giving them. And with that said, guys, 9 minutes until Andy Lang and Wager Talk today with some fantastic guests. This should be like any other show where, like the halftime show, where they throw it to the reporter on the side of the field and the game just kicks off or what have you. Stay tuned in, guys. Hit that like button. Join the hit the subscribe as well to join the ever-growing community here at Wager Talk. We will see you tomorrow in action-packed Friday and the return of 6 and 60.